The release of Fantastic Four First Steps motivated me to watch the 2005 film with an analytical eye, and I was pleasantly surprised. It had good writing that stood the test of time. It may have been a little campy, but so was the Spider-Man trilogy, yet everyone gives that its flowers. What's most impressive is the choice to decrease the development of the plot to increase the development of the characters. The inciting incident is the cosmic radiation accident that gives everyone their powers. Once that happens, the story is chopped up into self-contained episodic events. There is a subplot of Doom doing evil, but it's in the background. He only becomes an actual threat in the third act. The second act is very disconnected and lacks an actual antagonist. A more technical way of describing this can be found by using Blake Snyder's beat sheet, which is an iteration of 3-act structure. In his formula, there is a step in Act 2 called Fun and Games. He described this as the promise of the premise, the trailer moments. Fun and games happens right before the midpoint, but in Fantastic Four, Act 2 is made up entirely of fun and games, but for a very good reason: character development. 3 of the 4 have explicitly stated flaws that they have to overcome by the end of the film. Reed thinks too much and doesn't act. This is externalized by his broken relationship with Sue and his delayed progress on fixing Ben. Johnny's flaw is the opposite. He doesn't think and just acts. This is externalized by him clashing with the group due to his immature antics, especially Ben. Ben's flaw is that he wants to get rid of his powers because of how they negatively affect his life. Sue doesn't have an arc, but she's the glue that holds the team together and helps most of them realize their flaws. With this clear setup, all of the disconnected events are constructed to highlight these flaws and allow the characters to overcome them. Reed and Sue broke up because Sue wanted to move in with him, but he overthought it and was unwilling to act. Ben turned his back on Reed because he wanted the machine that could remove his powers to be perfect before he took action. Sue and Johnny had called out his flaw to his face before, and the completion of his arc is represented by him testing the incomplete machine on himself and then finally proposing to Sue. Johnny's lack of thinking is first shown as a flaw when he doesn't want to get rid of his powers and is inconsiderate of Ben's troubles. Then when he goes on TV, he shows his lack of thought even more by mocking Ben and naming him the Thing. He's so fixated on how cool his powers are that he doesn't think about how horrible Ben's are. In Act 3, he overcame his flaw when he thought about how to outsmart the missile. He explicitly says, "Come on Johnny, think," before doing his trick. He showed his ability to think again when he questioned using the supernova, since Reed warned him about it earlier in the film. Ben's flaw is the most understandable. His powers add way more struggle in his daily life, so he wants to get rid of them. Doom capitalizes on this to break his friendship with Reed. After Ben gets what he wants, he learns that what he wanted isn't as important as what he needs, which was to use his powers for good. As a regular human, he couldn't help in the fight against Doom, so he had a character arc and regained his powers to fight in the climax, accepting the downsides that came with it. All 3 of these arcs are executed cleanly because the movie has so much breathing room to just develop the characters. Look at Act 2. The characters start by slowly discovering their powers. Ben meeting his wife establishes his flaw. The Brooklyn Bridge scene happens to show how their powers can be used for good. Then the characters study their powers to find a way to reverse them. A scene in here has the reason for Reed and Sue's breakup, establishing Reed's flaw. The BMX scene really cements Johnny's thoughtlessness, reinforces Ben's sadness, and drives a wedge between him and Ben. The collision of their flaws is what drives them apart. The Alicia scene doubles down on Ben's struggles. Reed and Sue's date develops Reed's flaw even more and drives a wedge between Reed and Ben, developing Ben's flaw. The collision of their flaws is what drives them apart. The Storm siblings' argument highlights Johnny's flaw again. Reed overcomes his flaw when he tests the machine. Ben gets what he wants from Doom, but realizes that it isn't what he needs. The missile scene was for Johnny to conquer his flaws. Then the characters fight as heroes in Act 3. The movie ends with all 3 character arcs completed. That's really efficient. This approach to writing reminds me of Harry Potter, which I analyzed in a previous video. Both stories fill Act 2 with fun and games, which sacrifices the plot in exchange for something else of value. Fan 4 got strong character development for multiple characters that resulted in completed arcs in Act 3. Azkaban developed a jigsaw puzzle mystery that came together in Act 3 for a satisfying payoff. It's also interesting how Reed and Johnny's arcs foil each other, while Ben and Johnny's reactions to their powers foil each other. The writing makes it all really believable. Reed is a genius, so he overthinks. Johnny is a hothead, so he doesn't think. Ben is a permanent rock monster, so he hates his powers. Johnny has complete control over his fire and can fly, so he loves his powers. Overall, the movie is great, and it owes a lot to this plot-light, character-heavy approach, which allowed it to introduce 5 main characters and complete 3 character arcs in one movie. Dominating Act 2 with fun and games not only makes the story more fun, but it creates room to explore unconventional opportunities, like a jigsaw mystery or multiple character arcs.